Maybe I just didn't. So this is close enough. So remind me if we have, but like I think we've talked about this already.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I saw this. Like, I feel like we have, but I don't remember it enough.
But either way, I think it's important now of all times to revisit this topic. So I think that we need to see two Shinjuu desire the same target. And so my question is, who do we pick and why? Let's go over all possibilities. And there's a lot of possibilities here, I'll be honest. But just one thing I want to get out of the way immediately, since it ties into the previous conversation anyways, is I think one thing you could do as a consequence is, because Boruto went to save Konohamaru, Jura is now going to be interested in Konohamaru and target him, which is the one thing Kashin Koji didn't want.
Okay, I had a few other possibilities. So this one, the first one, requires that Ryu's revived, but he targets Sarada because he's pissed at him.
Oh, okay.
Like a revengey thing, and then obviously Hidari targets Sarada. For two very different reasons in that case.
So I also, just as another note here, I want to see two different Shinjuu fight over the same target. So either as like
that
a
one would
race,
work for Hidari Ryu, I think.
I think so as well. I think Hidari and anyone really, but either a race or a rivalry, so that they're like competing with each other to get that target first, because obviously only one of them can devour it.
Okay, I don't really see Matsuri Jura competing over it, but another one I have is, assuming Ada presents herself as a threat similar to Koji Boruto, so she's one of the singularities of fate, Jura wants to target her because like she's a problem. This case, maybe he wants to kill her, but Mamushi's like, nah, I want to devour her.
Mamushi's the most fun. We'll definitely get into that. I'll also mention that regardless of fighting of competing or racing, another thing I want to see the Shinjuu possibly do whenever they have the same target is I want them to fight. Not over the target, but fight with one another. I want to see them fight to the death, potentially, even. I want to see a Shinjuu kill another Shinjuu because they want the same target. That's some Kisame shark cannibalism level stuff right there. That's cool.
Or, yeah, like, okay, Mamushi's just like messing with someone. He's just like, like, Hidari, you haven't devoured Sarada yet. I guess I'll go after her. Kind of like a Datara with Itachi when it comes to Naruto, even though Itachi wasn't actually going after it, but like.
Well, that's actually one of the ones that I was
going after Naruto for that matter.
thinking.
They'll just like taking turns throwing jabs at each other.
Because we're both on the same page. Mamushi would just be the most fun in this regard. So
yeah, he's just our favorite Shinji.
Yeah. So him going after Sarada could be very interesting. If we just are going to have Hidari awaken his paternal instincts or whatever, and he changes from wanting to devour Sarada to protecting Sarada because of Mamushi, or just in general, and Mamushi is like the physical obstacle that he has to overcome in that regard. There's a lot of different angles you can play with it there. But I think
it could also be cool. This makes no sense, but like throwing away Ryu, Mamushi devours Ryu over a target dispute.
Okay.
And we get a Shinjuu devouring a Shinjuu in that case.
I mean, Mamushi, as you said in your video, is the most reactive to external environment things, and so hearing about Sarada would be the thing to make him most likely of any of the Shinjuu to change to Sarada, or any of the other targets for that matter.
Yeah. It's a good point, though. Like, he's arguably the easiest, aside from Jura and his fickleness, he's probably arguably the easiest to switch targets.
Very little friction there, yeah.
That
being said, Jura is the only one who has, and potentially the only one who can. Obviously, Jura is a little bit more of a problem in this regard, because he's not only the leader of the Shinjuu who can just like tell them not to do it, they just might listen just straight up. But also Jura is just way stronger, so that's another problem. But then the third thing here is there is genuinely the possibility that the other Shinjuu just can't change targets, because whatever, maybe the person, the tree they're connected to, or whatever other thing that separates them from Jura. It's possible Jura just is the only one who can do that. But then Jura sort of takes away a lot of the dynamic between two different Shinjuu wanting the same target in this regard.
I mean, unless they just want to do a thing to where, like, I wouldn't necessarily like this, but, like, Mamushi turns on Jura because he wants to devour Himawari, and Jura just kills Mamushi. Like, you ain't doing that. Like...
So we're in agreement that for the story, it would probably be best if Matsuri came back over Ryu. And I think I have this written down somewhere, but I need to see Jura's reaction to Matsuri's reaction to Konohamaru when she comes back. In particular, what is Jura going to think about love? Is he going to ban it going forward? And then what's Matsuri's reaction going to be to Jura doing that? Since Matsuri's probably going to come back and be this crazy, heartbroken, psychopathic maniac that just wants to kill Konohamaru. She's probably going to be going crazy with it, crying, just freaking out the whole... Basically Karin after she was captured and like was imprisoned or whatever.
Yeah.
She's going to be acting like that. And Jura, having seen that and seen what love can do, he's either going to ban it outright, and Matsuri's going to have a problem with that, maybe even just want Konohamaru even more now in terms of a love rather than devour, or he might change his target to Konohamaru based on Matsuri's reaction, maybe even out of pity or to save Matsuri, just to get Konohamaru out of the way.
Yeah.
A lot of different aspects there.
But he also thinks that the Shinjuu need to overcome love, so he might want Matsuri to do it herself.
If he doesn't think she can, then maybe he wouldn't.
Yeah, it just depends, but...
Yeah.
But he also might see it kind of like Shiapoof feeling like if he killed Komugi, then everyone would never know the feeling of beating Komugi.
Yeah.
This is earlier in the arc. It could be a similar thing to that, though, where it's like, if I kill Konohamaru, then Matsuri will never be able to overcome love.
I'm glad that you're on the same page with me of the thought process there, comparing them to the Chimera Ants in this specific regard, in regards to what to do, because they all have the same mindset. Protect the king to the best of their abilities, do whatever is best for the king, but they each have different ways of going about that, or different ideas of what that looks like. Shout out Jiraiya envisioning peace. And so sometimes they're on the same page, or even if they disagree, they might lead to similar outcomes. Because Pito was generally for her, and Poof and Yuppie were generally against her. Generally.
Yeah, because it was about like Pito was for Komugi because Meruem cared about Komugi, and Pito cared about Merum's feelings.
Exactly. But either way, each three of them were unique in their own feelings, thoughts, actions, emotions, etc. for the king, how to go about it, etc., etc.
Exactly.
What actions did they? And so they both worked with and against each other at different times in a very interesting, unique, compelling way. I want to see something like that.
I agree. I hate to say that I want to rehash the Chimera Ant arc, but like in many ways, that is what I want from the Shinjuu, and it doesn't need to be done in the exact same way. But that's the thing people need to understand, is that it can be extremely similar, but that doesn't mean you can't do different things and get different things out of it. And frankly, I just see it as the potential of what it could be, because I think Chimera Ants just did it really well. They have so much of a similar foundation, not just plot-wise, but narratively being set, that I'm like, just fucking do it. You know, like, at this point, just go all in. Like, copy the arc.
Well, what I'll say about Mamushi choosing to go after some other Shinju's targets, I think Mamushi's the most dangerous one to go do that, for obvious reasons. If anything, Mamushi's the most dangerous Shinju, even if he's the least powerful. Yeah,
he's the hardest to convince to talk no jutsu too.
Like, he's gonna be slinking around. Like, he's gonna be Code. He's just gonna get you off guard if he can. He's gonna be the one doing the dirty tricks, not Hidari. So,
yeah,
I definitely want to see
Melo says.
That being said, something I could see happening is through his connection with Himawari, when going after Ada and seeing Damon, he could change his targets to Himawari, maybe just to spite Damon, which obviously Jura might just forbid or kill him for trying to do that despite forbidding it. Like there's some stuff to go there. In which
That's
case,
what I was gonna say. Like, you could do a thing to where like Jura kills Mamushi for like betraying them in that sense.
in which
But
case that can get to what you were saying. Maybe Jura could devour Mamushi's soul thorn or whatever else, which would tie into his curiosity for eating the chakra fruit.
exactly. So it just depends on exactly how they do that one. Because I could see myself liking it, but I could very easily see myself just not liking it.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see any of the soul thorns rot?
No, even though I want that because they said this stupid line. The problem though is that like I only want it because it was said, but ignoring that, I don't want a Shinju dying because of rotting.
Let alone the fact that the
Granted, I
person would
guess you
be
could do a
permanently
thing to
stuck,
where,
seemingly.
like, now that the soul thorn rots, like Malegi can never be saved.
Yeah.
And if they, but it depends on, again, it leads into the execution leading up to it. Did they set up a good scenario to where, they were on a time crunch and someone's mistake led to this problem to where now they'll never be saved and that means something? Or is it going to be some stupid, while Boruto's fighting your Moegi, I guess in that case it'd be, hey, Boruto, the fact that you showed up when you did led to Moegi never being saved. I guess you could do that, but
That's
depends on how they execute it.
Okay. One of the last ones I could see.
But I mean, if they can't kill Inochi, it's not ever going to happen.
Yes, crazy. One of the last ones I could see would be, so let's just say that Ryu's soul thorn is put into Shinki, so Shinki is saved. That means Gaara is saved because he's no longer a target of any Shinju. He should be safe from the Shinju. It's possible that any of the other Shinju could, through respect for Ryu's target or decision, almost to like grieve him, maybe they'll go after Gaara to devour him now.
Yeah,
I could see Jura in particular doing this. Which in that case, it's almost like Hunter x Hunter when Uvogin died.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like Nobunaga was grieving his own way. Shout out Nobunaga. They just do their own thing there. Could be cool.
I think Jura could work for that though.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So I think I had a Malegi topic.